everybody. Welcome to this week's episode. Hey y'all, hey.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to this week's episode of Off Topic Podcast. Listen, I am a professional lip reader this week. I'm telling you the truth and with confidence. Hey, how's everybody's week been so far?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Everybody have a good week?
Yes.
All right.
so far,
Anything
so far.
exciting? Anything over the top?
Mm.
No.
Kim,
I only got 5 seconds, but I just got back from Jamaica.
come on, Jamaica, with the stellar getting her groove back. Okay.
Did you bring your Winston?
Not yet. Not yet. Work in progress.
Okay, then. How was Jamaica? How was the weather? I know it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. I went parasailing for the first time, and the water was navy blue. I've never seen water that blue before in my life.
Wow.
But it was beautiful. I had a very good time.
Were you scared going parasailing?
Actually, I really wasn't. I had a friend that harnessed me up.
Oh. Okay, Harness. We might have to build in some topics on the episodes about the harness. I think I need a little tutorial on this.
It was a big girl harness, but he lifted me up. I was like, I just met you.
Did you feel secure?
Absolutely.
Ooh.
If I had to die that day, he told me I was beautiful before I went up to the sky.
Wait a minute.
Thank you, sweetheart.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely know Kim had an excellent week this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope everybody else had a good week. My week was pretty good. Just really busy, but pretty good week. So, all right. Kim, we're going to definitely come back to your juicy conversation, your juicy vacation. But first, let's go ahead and get into some other juicy conversations and jump into this clip.
Right. You damn
Well,
right.
how does that work?
It works just fine for me. Okay?
So she wants to put me out of her house.
Yes, you gonna get the stepping if you don't get your man come up in here
So-
and create me a baby.
So then what am I supposed to do, Mom? You want me to out the house because of who I'm dating?
Yes, I do.
And then what am I supposed to do?
You do what you want to do when you out my house, but long as you in my house, you gonna have a decent relationship.
But the thing
this
is,
come from
Mom-
the old school, baby. The old school. What I'm talking about is a man and a woman procreate and they have babies. Not a woman and a woman, okay? Y'all can't have babies together. Don't you understand?
But she is a better partner than I've ever had in my entire life.
Not
but I'm
by
supposed
my
to be
book,
with
it
somebody
ain't.
that I don't want. But
Not by my
she
book,
has
it
treated
ain't.
me the best that I've ever had in my whole life, Mom. But you want me to go and settle and be with somebody that I don't love.
Yeah,
That's what
well,
you prefer.
Guess what? You gotta grow to love people, okay? You gotta get to
Okay.
know the person. All right, you ain't even get no man no chance.
All right.
How you supposed to love a man? You ain't even let a man in your life. You just saw this woman. This woman supposed to give you everything. No, ma'am. Not in this house. Not under my roof. No, ma'am. Try again.
So can I ask you a question?
No, how ask me? I'ma tell you.
Are you happy?
I'm wonderfully happy. Me and your daddy been married for 23 years.
It's been good all 23
All
years.
23. We have our ups and downs, and you know that. But
Okay.
you here. You here. Ain't you? Yes, you are. So I need you to do this. I need you to find you a decent husband, and I need you to bring him
You
up
can
in
let
my
that
house
go, Mom, 'cause I'm
so
not having a
I can
husband.
have some children, some
I'm not marrying a
grandchildren.
man.
Well, you
Juicy in all of the wrong ways. Whew.
Yeah.
Very much so.
We go from one extreme to the other.
Right.
Where do we? I want to talk about being harnessed and things. All right, let's jump in. Where do we start? This one is heavy. I don't know if this
Real
is really
heavy.
juicy. This is really more heavy than
Yes.
anything. Like, But it's something that goes on in today's world, probably a more frequent conversation than we would like to admit. Even more frequent and with people when they're talking and whispering to other people and gossiping on the phones. I hate to say it and bring it up, but definitely probably in the church realm as well.
Absolutely.
But it's definitely probably more frequent than we probably know. All
Mhm.
right, who wants to start us off? Like, what are you guys thinking when you watch that clip? What first
Me
comes to
first.
mind?
I
Well,
Because
actually,
Mama Kim, hold on for 1 second. Mario never goes first. Let's
you know
reel
what?
him in.
Because I was like, oh, I'm a mama.
I know you got some plenty to say about it. However, I guess what I found
Mm.
interesting about the clip is
Mhm.
typically you see this maybe taking place as it relates to maybe males. So it
Yes.
was shocking to me to see her being, I guess, a
Yes.
lesbian. I would assume that's what she identifies as. And her mom not or her mom having an issue with that. Because, like I said, typically you see that with males, getting, hey, get out of my house because this is how you want to live your life and all that kind of stuff. So I've never really heard of this taking place for females. So that was kind of shocking to me.
Definitely, yes.
Not as shocking for me. I know that it happens with men and women, but I think it's always interesting with these scenarios. I don't know if I'm alone, but I feel like it felt slightly staged. I know she was like
Yeah.
recording herself, you know what I mean? Because just in listening to her mother, like I didn't feel that her mother genuinely took issue with it per se. It seemed like the main issue was the fact that she's living with her, like, you know what I mean. So it's like it's not really an issue for her, but it's just the fact that it's in like I
In the
can
house.
see, I know that or like it's right there, which doesn't make it right, but it's like that's kind of like the sentiment that I was getting from that whole conversation. It was like as long like if she was living on her own, she wouldn't care if she had a girlfriend or whatever, you know. So that was an interesting like
No, I
take.
think her whole issue, I think she still cared that she might be a lesbian or not. She wanted grandkids. And she is older because I'm like, ma'am, she could still have grandkids even if she is a lesbian.
Yeah.
So, what is really your issue? Is it that she was with a woman and that's the only thing that she wanted to be with? Or is it because you think she can't have grandkids? She can still have grandkids without being with a man.
Yeah, but I think that most people have excuse me, Hayward. I
It's
think a
okay.
lot of people, especially the older generation, have that in their head that naturally, as you would always hear in church, they somehow this came up, Adam, God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, or
Right.
stuff like that. So
Mhm.
with that thought process in mind, people feel like, hey, two men together can't have kids, or two women together can't have kids. When in all actuality, they very well can. Maybe not the traditional way. And
Absolutely.
then actually, in some cases, they can do that in the traditional way,
That's right.
and then raise them, amongst themselves.
Amongst
So
the individual.
just more of a closed-minded mentality.
Yes.
Yeah, and a bit of selfishness as well, because I think a lot of times parents, even regardless of your sexual orientation, they want to like push off children onto, they
Absolutely.
want grandchildren. So I think, hers was coming from a selfish space. I think
Yes.
ultimately she had to tie it back into like, oh, I want to have grandkids, and
Yeah.
and just even kind of like denouncing the fact that she feels the way that she feels, just saying like you haven't even given men a try. Like, how do you know that she hasn't like experienced that?
Yeah.
You don't know what her, or even if that's not the case, like if that's just her attraction, that's whatever. Like you just have to kind of take her at her word and move forward.
Before I could even get to the content of what they were discussing, I guess a lot of red flags went off for me, just with the exchange of the communication. So kind of hitting on what Mario was talking about as far as the closed mind mentality. We're living in today's world and there are so many options
That's right.
to bring a baby into this world, and like it showed that the mother was only thinking through one lens, which is probably the old school way. So like
Baby.
you're not even in today's world with your mindset. And then another thing, like I love the questions that the daughter asked the mother. They were real, and her I don't feel that she answered them, or I feel that she gave that one track mindset, which is which was the way
My way
before,
or
right?
no way.
Yeah, my
Yep.
way or no way.
Yeah.
And the first thing that I thought about on one of the questions that she asked, and she totally answered different, I was just thinking, if this man was a very rich and wealthy man, not to change the conversation, but if this man was a very rich and wealthy man that she was dating and he beat her, what would the mother's conversation be
Yep.
then? He
It would
takes
be the
good
same
care of
woman.
you. You can get through this. So knowing that we wasn't talking about a man, but just any gender, I just feel like her mindset. So I couldn't even get to the topic that they were discussing because I'm like, you can't get anywhere with that person and the
Right.
mindset that they have. They're not even gonna open their mind to think of other possibilities because yeah, you got IVF. She can go get a surrogate. You could probably there's so much new
Nah.
science
Yep.
now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you know what I thought? Now this part funny. I thought about when I was watching Precious, and the mom was like, "You know, you can't get A's in the butt." I'm like, "Hello, you can." You telling this girl because of your old school mindset that she could never have a child, that she couldn't adopt. It's so many women, men. I was watching a movie on the plane called Our Son. Two males, gay married couple. They had a son. They used the husband. Well, it was two husbands, but the one guy, he used his sperm to have the baby with one of their best friends. The other guy tried the same, but the lady miscarriage. So they end up only having one child. But the point was, it was two males and they had a child. The guy had a natural, or not natural, but a blood child. So I'm like, ma'am, you didn't do your research before she recorded you because you sounded real silly.
True. And also, let's think about the other factor of matter is, yeah, you may want grandkids, but what if she don't even want kids?
Absolutely.
Right.
That should have been the first questions.
Mhm.
It's not even about being with a man or a woman. Do you even want children?
Yeah.
I
Like
guess
everybody
we
don't
look
want
at
that.
it at not a different way, because I feel all you guys gave some good points and I 100% agree with those. I guess I look at it another way as far as just the mother-daughter relationship. And that's me basing that off of me and my mom. She didn't always agree with everything, that I did, but there was still support there, almost like, you know what, I may know that this ain't it, but you got to find that out on your own type thing. So that alone kind of just disturbed me because me and my mom are so close. So even something like that, just saying, no, you have to do this. And it's like that bothers me. I do have a funny story though. So I had kids late, okay? I had kids at 26 and 28.
That's late.
That's not late.
Late. When I say late, I mean late. No, okay, let me say that. Late compared to
some
my
on the
friends.
call.
Late middle school or high school. I'm talking like freshman year and stuff. So like when my kids are in high school now,
Yeah.
most of my friends got grandkids. Like
Okay.
they kids were in their 20s or some close to 30.
Let's
So I remember me and my
speak through
mom.
this part, please.
Yeah, me and my mom were in Vegas, and I will never forget it. She did it just so sweet. Because I'm an only child. So her biggest thing has always been, you gotta give me something. I need them. But she would say it in a nice, kind of like in a playing way, but I also know my mom. So we're just, this was after she had already asked me going up to the room, Midget, are you an alcoholic? Because you've been drinking. If you are, you can just tell me, we can talk about it. So we get back to the room, and then she sits me on the bed and says, since you've been drinking, I want to ask you a question. I'm like, okay. I had to be like 22, y'all. Are you a lesbian? Because I was like, why would you ask me that? She said, I ain't got no grandbabies yet. So I just
She went all the way.
if you
22?
are, right, if you are, it's okay. We can figure out other ways
That
to
is
get me some
hilarious.
grandkids. I just need you to let me know. Should I still be hoping or so see, a way like that, like I had to laugh and tell her, baby,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Of course. That is funny.
Take that. Okay. Not saying nothing's wrong with that, listeners. I'm just saying.
It's just not you.
You
It's just
said
not
you need a poker too.
You hear me? Baby, bounce on it. Okay. But
Not a book.
I took it too far. I'm sorry, Mama, when you watch this. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just a way to do things. And I just thought that was so, I didn't like that exchange. Just that
Right.
whole
Yeah.
because you can support your kids and not agree with what they do, but they still,
Absolutely.
if they're already out on the island about a certain thing, for instance, being a lesbian, being gay, that's already an island where they're not unsure about their sexual orientation, but just that disconnect where you don't know how people are going to treat you. That's scary to be out there anyway.
Yeah.
So you need somebody in your corner that's going to say, I don't care what you got going on. I
Right.
love you. Let's sit down and figure this out. If this is what it is, I was hoping for grandkids. Maybe we can find that another way, but just you got to get out or you can't do this. Now, she might not want the girl in there laying up in her house with her. I 100% get that but I would be the same if it was a guy. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? Like, just you still in your mom's house, so we ain't just great lay up in here
That's
like
right.
that. I wouldn't
But
feel
was that
comfortable.
really the issue?
No,
Because
I was
then
saying,
she
I said
turned
I could
around.
see if that was,
Yeah. But I'm just
I don't
saying,
think it
when
but
was.
her
Yeah.
I
saying
don't
that,
think it
was
was.
it really who you bringing in my house? Because then you turned around and coupled it with grandkids.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
So, like,
So
you
that's
can
how
have
you
It
them.
makes
know.
She could
sense.
be outside the house
Right.
doing this, and
That's
you
right.
still not gonna get no
At
grandkids.
all.
Right.
Right.
Not a one. And she
I
let you
mean,
know she's
not
not bringing them in.
traditionally,
So,
Not
yeah, how she's
traditional. That's right.
wanted.
yeah.
That's right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
that.
I
just
think
to say you gotta grow to love somebody, y'all had to do that back then. I don't want to be with you and grow to love you
No,
because
that's
I
right.
don't even like you. I don't
That's
want
right.
to do that. Celie didn't like Mister, and she never grew to love him after all
Not
them
at
damn
all.
years.
Not
Right.
at all.
That's right.
That's insane. Like
no, it
I could
is.
never tell Mike, oh, you'll grow to love him. No, I
Yeah.
don't know.
But
That's right.
I don't know if she truly believed that or not. Like I feel like she was just throwing anything out
Out
Anything.
there
there.
that
Yep.
that could try
She
to
had already lost at that
influence
point.
her. Oh yeah, the battle was lost a long time ago.
But again, I think that just goes into the old school mentality. Like they
Yeah.
will throw just anything out there, whether it makes sense or not.
Mhm.
It makes sense to them in those moments, but in reality, to a same not a same person, but to a person that's
That's sensible.
Yeah.
exactly it's
Yeah.
like that don't really make sense. But when they sprout all these things, to them it makes sense in those moments.
Right.
That's right.
So that was a good segue into our next topic. Let's jump into Speak to Me. The reason I say it was a good segue because having that old school mentality, that straightforward thinking, and not thinking about anything else, it kind of comes with the same type of communication. It's either harsh, I'm a pound it in you. This is how I feel. So let's just talk about communication this week on the Speak to Me topic. So let's go and let's kind of discuss, how would you describe good, effective communication? Hayward, I'll let you jump in and take this one. How would you describe that? Especially when we've seen just demonstrated a certain way of communication, which we kind of often equate as the old school way. What's
Yeah.
good, effective communication to you?
To me, good communication and effective communication is really like speaking to that person and really getting your point across. Or let me retract that. Not getting your point across, but saying what it is that you need to say and following up with that person in the conversation to make sure that they understand what it is that you said. So like have them either repeat it back to you like, hey, what did you hear me say? Just so that you can really fully, make sure that you two are in the same space and really understanding the full idea, and to be able to have that free flowing conversation, and not to be, I think, not to be afraid to speak your truth, but to be in a space of like clarity to receive it as well. Because I think a lot of times when we speak to people, just in having that communication, we want to try to just get our point across, and it's me, rah, 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 and you're not. A lot of people listen to respond, if that makes sense. So they're not really like taking in what's being said, or more so than just really like, I'm going to react to you and rebuttal to whatever you're saying, just so I can kind of come out on top. So yeah, that's pretty much my idea of effective communication.
If I can jump in real quick, because I would like to think that I was at one time previously was a good communicator, and Stovall would remind me more times than not that I really wasn't. And I took a little offense to it in the beginning because I was like, well, how are you going to tell me I'm not a good communicator? But I think to your point, Hayward, a lot of times that is when I would communicate, it would more so be I'm not really listening to you what you're saying. I'm listening to respond. So I'm just waiting on my turn to speak. And so in the midst of that, the message gets lost. I probably got upset about some stuff. Probably if I would have listened, I might have heard it differently or something like that. But then also, uh, just the fact of not being able to fully explain myself in situations. So then my point gets misunderstood. And so then I'm angry, or not angry, but feel it away because my point is not understood the way I intended it to. And even now, as I'm trying to continue on with my communication, Kim and I'll be communicating and stuff like that. And and we may communicate through text. And so sometimes how I may intend it, of course, and the written communication is always off anyway, but sometimes how I intended to get across to her may not come through. So then when we have a verbal, then when I'm able to fully explain it, that's when kind of the light comes on. She was like, oh, okay, now I see what you meant. So the lesson for me is that I've learned that I've had to get better at making sure that my point is being known or being understood versus just assuming you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Sharon, what do you think?
So am I just gonna say I gotta agree with Moria with this, baby. If Kim don't make you do nothing else, she's gonna make you communicate, and she's gonna make you sit down and circle back, because sis is gonna listen. She gonna make sure that communication is on point, and I love her for it. I love her for it because she's no, and you're upset. So why are you upset? Because this is bothering you. That's how she is. So it just make you think.
Or her other favorite line is, "Well, what did you mean when you said this?" Like,
and baby, if you can't explain it to her, she's gonna eat you up.
Yeah, right. Those are probing questions. Because
thing about Kim, she do make you think about. She just made me think a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely,
but she will make you think truly, and she'll make you talk it through. And she's done this with my family in a circle. And it's like, okay, because I done said some bullshit before she said, Kim, now that wasn't necessary. But at that moment, I needed it. But then she made me think, like, how are you communicating? How do you want somebody to receive what you're saying? And if you're saying it in a jab, they're not going to take it as love. They're going to take it as hurt. Yeah, so Kim does that very, very well, because she definitely helped me, even in my job. I think about conversations me and Kim have had over the years, because now it's been years, and becoming an active listener has been one of the things that I've really worked on, definitely at work. Because somebody will say something to me, I'm like, are you done? Because I'm about to go do what you asked me 5 minutes ago. So now I'm actively listening. Even if I don't want to hear it, I'm listening and then giving you my response, or I can't do it or I can. So I've been growing even in my 50 plus years of life. It's been a work in progress.
I think we all are working with. I know I am,
definitely.
But I do have to take my emotions. I do have to take my emotions out of things. Sometimes I've gotten better at it. But Hayward and Mario said the same thing I was going to say. My thing is, for me, communication is active listening. And so many people listen to respond and rebuttal instead of listening to understand. So that's where we get confused, because somebody's saying something, but in the midst of you saying something to me, you've already said something to piss me off. So I'm already thinking about, I'm the comeback queen. So I'm already thinking about, I got about 3 bullets ready for you. Soon as you stop talking, and I'm great. Because I'm ready. So, and then I haven't heard anything else because I'm pissed about that one thing. So I haven't seen anything else. So listening to understand. And if I don't understand, not getting upset, but asking for clarification.
Yeah, and that's a very special skill to attain, because it's like you said, to that point, you have it locked and loaded, ready. Like, okay, I heard this, so but to really like sit there and process it and say, okay, this is what I heard them say, and try to like verbalize it back. It takes a great deal of restraint.
It does. Yes, it does.
I want to say that my communication has evolved to what you guys are talking about. And I want to say it's because kind of like what Hayward just kind of brought up in my household and around the people that I've been raised. I started to feel like what you're giving me and what you're saying to me is not coming from the conversation we need to have in real time, but it's coming from something that you've held, something that is a trigger for you, and you give it to me. And as I became older and just started to work through things, I started to notice this. So that made me say, like, okay, you say you're telling me what you're telling me, but when you're just telling me, I'm thinking, I'm listening with like cold call ears, right? I'm fresh ears. I don't know the situation, but it sounds like you're holding something and you're having a conversation with me like you've had with your thoughts. So then I'm lost. So that's why I do that, cuz that's why I do that, Mo, because sometimes when I hear a conversation, I'm like, I'm missing a part. And if I'm missing a part, more than likely I'm coming to find out that it's because you've had a conversation with you and your thoughts and you're giving me that version.
Yes.
And so I feel like people do that all the time. So when it's somebody that you're talking to and they're just listening to reply, everything is missed. Things are blown out of proportion because the perspective that you're giving is from the conversation you and your thoughts have had, you and your pillow have had. So that's why I learned that skill or learned to kind of um go into things like that, asking those questions. So then once you level set me, then it's good. We're good to go. Let's go. Let's have this conversation.
And
Yeah.
I
So
appreciate it though. And I say that
Absolutely.
because when I call upset about something, not towards you, obviously, but if I call mad about anything, that's my cousin. So in my head, the backstory don't matter, Kim. Just roll with me. And she's like, I'm gonna roll with you, but I need you to tell me everything. I need to hear everything that happened. What all happened?
Yeah.
Then when I get to telling her what
know about
happened, she'll sit back and laugh.
No,
a
she
minute
does
about,
do that very well. She
I
will
don't
know
know.
the whole story.
no, she does. And then she'll,
I
but
don't
Mario,
know.
hold on. She'll come
Yeah,
back
she
and
really
tell me,
do that.
she'll say, all right,
Sorry,
she'll laugh
Mario,
and
you
say, all
outnumbered
right.
this time, baby.
But
No, no, no.
we're talking about communication.
Yes.
Mama Kim and I'm talking.
Oh, sorry.
I'm fucking with you. I'm just playing.
Baby, you can't quiet me this week, baby. You see,
Yeah.
last week I was
Right.
this week, baby, I got this little brown on me.
oh God.
No, ma'am.
Come back and say after she listens, she'll get tickled and say, all right, now, bitch, you the problem. But we just gonna keep on. After everything you told me, you the problem. But I'm gonna ride with you. It's okay. But you the motherfucking problem. I see you.
That's a good friend. Cause
Well,
It is.
and I would agree. That's a good friend. However, there be sometimes you call her and you just want her to say, you know what? I feel that. I feel
Yes, you ain't.
true. Sometimes you do want that, but
she ain't gonna give you that. She gonna be like,
That's good.
That's not a friend if she does do that.
Right.
Listen.
Agree. But sometimes you do just need that that backup, like in that moment when you be like fuming,
in that
like
moment.
I just need somebody to
moment.
hear this so they can, but
Yeah.
I get
And
it.
I want to tell you guys that I want to give
if we
that.
got to boot up afterward, she booting up. She's like, all right, cousin, we can ride now. And I'm like, okay, that's what you could have told me that 30 minutes ago. Let's go.
No, she gotta know what she booting up for, and she gotta know what she getting herself into and why and what's the repercussions of it.
Because I got to plan out the plan.
I'm gonna say she gonna make sure 5 different ways for us to get out of it because we ain't getting caught. So she needs to know everything so we can go in and do what we got to do and leave. You right.
Right. So that kind of takes me into my next conversation. Like, how would the closest people around you describe your communication style? And kind of also, we kind of just talked about it, but how do you navigate through those difficult conversations? I just have to listen first. I kind of got to listen to the conversation to know like your body language. Can I be upfront with you right now 1000%? Do I need to hold a little back and revisit it? Let me get the story. Let me learn all the working parts because depending on where you telling me where your inflictions go, what you're getting upset about, I might not be able to touch that right now because you might not even be able to receive it. So yeah, but I have received feedback back a lot, mostly from my daughter. Like, mommy, sometimes you just have to be a listening ear. And I'm trying to implement that. And so sometimes, like, you might hear me this year, like, listening ear, because I physically have to tell myself that because it's literally doing something that I'm not used to doing because I am a clear expectation person. I want you to understand it. And sometimes I have to hold back what my personal preferences are or my personal have to be's are just to be a listening ear. So yeah, cousin, tell me more about your thoughts about that. Like how to navigate through difficult conversations and the people closest to you, how would they describe your communication style?
Well, I I tend to head on different conversations. I'm more like, let's get to it. I can't stand let's kind of ease into it or going, what the fuck do you gotta say? Let's talk. What we talking about? Let's just go. And it starts off a little rocky, but then it kind of it levels out. But also my approach, Lord, accountability. Look at me, God, at 42. My approach, I got to work on it. I gotta, because everybody ain't okay with that straightforward. So I kind of gotta, I can still be straightforward, but in a better way. That's what I'm slowly learning that. It's okay to be straightforward and take things head on, but I have to, there's a way to approach that as well. I don't have to be so, I could just maybe just do one, not so many of these.
I heard Hayward say, Hayward, what you thinking? What you thinking? What would be yours? How to navigate through difficult conversations. Prime example.
No, I'm with Ronnie. I am, like, some people might consider my communication style straightforward, but separate from difficult conversations. Like difficult conversations, to your point, like I think that you have to kind of read the body language and really understand what you're about to get into, or is this a safe space to be able to have this conversation? Are they ready to receive it? Like all those things that you said, because it can turn like very quickly. So it's like you have to be able to be prepared for all of those things to potentially happen. And it can be tricky when you're like, if you're in like a romantic relationship specifically, like, and you're trying to, one person has their way of like, they need maybe a day or 2 or 3 to think about what happened before they have this communication, and you're sitting, waiting, trying to see what's going on, and that's not really working. So it's like, to be able to find that happy medium is difficult to do, but it's just like, you have to learn to find the common ground and, be able to kind of test the waters a little bit to be like, hey, you ready to talk yet? Or like, it's a good time. What type of space are you in? XYZ. I know Mario's about to negate everything that I just said, but
I agree.
Tag him in, Hayward, please.
I'm just saying, don't test my waters, because my body language is always gonna give off, I'm not ready to receive it, which is unfortunate. However, it's probably
do better.
I need to do
you
better.
See my face.
But for real talk, my body language probably always will give off, not always, but as of late,
you said it right.
However, though, I do take in all feedback and everything somebody's saying to me. I just don't reflect that in my body language and my facial expressions at that time. And then it takes me a few days to kind of sit back and think about it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, stuff like that, which can be problematic for the other party, because they may want me to ingest what they're saying right then and there and then respond accordingly. But sometimes I'm not quite wired that way just yet. I need to kind of think about it and work through it and see, hey, does it really make sense, or this, that, and the third. But I feel like I'm getting better. I would say, if anybody, all my people that are close to me would probably say that if you knew me then and knew me now, my communication has gotten a little better, over the years.
A little.
Ooh.
I'm asking.
Listen, I'm not going to do that, because as of late, I've had to have a couple of conversations. I'm very proud of myself and how I handled it and how they took place. So I'm going to say I've gotten a whole lot better. Good. But what I found for me that works for me is to navigate through difficult conversations is, prior to that conversation, writing out my thoughts. So that helps me to take my emotions out of it. Again, something Stovall would tell me all the time. It's like, when I'm about to say this. No, don't say that, because that's too emotional. And I'm like, so that's be one of the moments I'll be like, no, you just need to let me say it. But it makes sense, because if I'm too emotional in my delivery, then guess what? My message is lost. So I find that writing it down prior to those conversations helps me out, because then I'm able to kind of bullet point myself into, hey, I want to talk about this. I want to get this out, and I need to talk about this. I need to say that, and even prepare for your rebuttals in the process.
Right.
That's a good way to work through it.
I agree.
Kim, what do you think?
So back in the day, when I was married, me and my husband, he one day decided, oh, I'm not going to talk to you. I took good advantage of that. Don't talk to me. I was in the streets every night with my best friend.
Wait a minute. So that pushed you in the streets, or that prolonged? Never mind.
It prolonged me in the streets.
I am sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Right, Ronnie. That's what we're gonna be saying. Put my finger up. Is it my turn? But he decided one day, and he was walking around the house. He ain't say hello. He ain't say have a good day. I said, "Oh, we not talking." My curfew, my respectable time was 3 o'clock in the morning to come in the house. Okay.
Behind that, you're okay. Got you. I thought you were saying
And how
normally.
many years later does she, in her mind, is processing this to be factual?
Wrong,
Not factual, but like, I mean, on the
baby.
up and up.
You ain't got to talk to me because I'm not coming in this house. I'm not going to communicate and tell you where I'm at. I'm not going to tell you where I've been. I'm in the streets. It lasted for a week. And every day, I would come home from work. 7. I was like, and I came in the house that one day, 5 o'clock. The sun was up, everything. He was sitting there. I said, "Oh, you ready to talk now? Okay, we can talk now." But now I try to be a better communicator. Pierre definitely helps me with that because I can get mad and he tried to talk me through it, and I'm just like, "Pierre, I don't want to talk." But he's like Kim. Let's talk about it. Let's get through it so you can be okay. I'm like, I am okay. I just at this moment don't want to talk about it because when I say some fuck shit, now everybody mad. I'd rather just let me process my thoughts and then give me a chance to come back to you and say, "Hey,
that's fair."
The other day I was upset, but now that I've thought about it, let's talk. Pierre don't want that. He wants
average. On average, how long does it take you? Like, how many days does it take you to?
Kim, how time? It was like 3 days. Oh, and that's because Pierre was like, "You got to talk to Kim." I was like, "Fuck her," but I still loved her.
Wow.
But I was like, "Fuck her. I don't want to talk to her." And then Pierre was like, "Well, Ma, and Pierre is that one that can always make it make sense. Everybody else, Mario was like, "You need to talk to Kim. Her feelings hurt." I don't give a fuck.
That is not what I said. That is not.
I was about to say, how was my feelings hurt when I didn't even know?
No, he's saying it like talk to Kim, not like her feelings was hurt, but talk to her and explain to her what you were feeling in that moment.
Well, say that. See, yeah, you need to work on your communication because that's what I said.
That's what I heard. And then me and Pierre talked about it, and then like I had a few tears, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna call Kim. And it was not only Kim, but it was just in my own emotions. And so I was like, okay, Pierre, damn. But he always had that ability, even when one of his friends, well, he was my friend too. And I was like, I don't want to talk to him. And Pierre was like, I need you to talk to him. And I called him and I was like, I'm only calling you because Pierre said. So a lot of things that have changed in my life and I've thought through, Pierre helps me through a lot of that. My dad, when he was alive, he used to write letters to explain himself. And so he would, like one time he wrote a long damn 3-page letter. I still got it and I'll go back and read it. And at that time, I was not ready to receive what he was saying. So I didn't talk to him for like 2 weeks and he finally called me. He's like, he was mad. I said I was. And I didn't want to disrespect him. So I took 2 weeks to realize how to speak to him because I always felt like my parents, even when they do fuckery, I still want to go to heaven. So I'd be like, okay, even when my mama say stuff or do stuff, I said, you know what, Ma, I'm going to call you later. I'm going to talk to you in a couple days because I need to process what you're saying or what you did and then have the respect to not cuss you out because I still do care about you and love you. So
I think one thing that I've learned as I've matured or as I get older, 2 things. The first thing would be there's when you're in a situation, knowing the difference between communication and comprehension.
Right.
And I didn't learn that until not too long ago. Because somebody will keep trying to communicate with somebody and keep trying, and then you're getting frustrated with yourself because you've Mario mapped it out and you know you've done this every single way that this is the right way, and you're frustrated that the other person can't receive it.
That's
And
right.
it's their comprehension to what you're saying. You know what I mean? So it's just like, ugh. So that's one thing that I've learned later on in life. And I think the other thing that I've learned, and Kim, this kind of goes to what you said, how you and Mario said Pierre is um learning that when you want to communicate, I don't feel like communication is just the talking part of it, but kind of the action part, like knowing when it's time to communicate, because a person might need a minute.
That's right.
And so if you just give them a minute,
Mhm.
it's gonna probably more so be a different conversation, moments after the in time. So
And
those
that's
two
true.
things,
That's true.
I've just learned that it's just not the talking part, but sometimes it's the action part. Like give somebody a minute, or yeah, go ahead, Ronnie.
I have no. I'm glad you said that because I was that was going to be my question for the four of you.
Mhm.
What is how people need a minute? What is what's your limit? And I ask that because I have one. You got 7 days. If me and you get into it or you upset about something, and I know that some like, how you gonna give somebody 7 days? Because I probably done forgot about it.
Yeah.
And my thing is, you can't come to me a month later and say, 3 weeks ago when you said, girl,
No, I don't.
So
that shit is old. Like I don't like stuff to linger like that. And
no,
you
I
wait
agree.
3 weeks to come and talk to me. Like I don't, and at this point, and I know it's horrible, I don't want to talk about it now. I don't want to talk about it now because 3 weeks ago, what the fuck even happened 3 weeks ago? Because I probably don't even care. Like I think that there should be a limit. You know what I mean? Or because I've had somebody come to me, when back on your birthday when such and such, it's July. My birthday's in November. What?
Right.
Like if you don't come to me at a certain time, baby, I need you to take care of that on your own and get over it on your own.
Yeah, I think 7 days is way too long.
I do too.
How many say it again?
I say I think 7 days is way too long, but I think it depends on the gravity of the situation too. So I'll say that.
Ronnie, I think 7 is long, but if I'm living with that person,
7.
Yeah,
In
that's
between.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be the whole 7. But after, if you hit 7,
okay,
you're done.
you don't want to talk about it no more.
Yeah,
I think a good 3 days, I want to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when we go past 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, I'm like, bro, I'm over it, girl. I'm over it. I don't want to talk about it no more, and I'm gonna still love you. But you might still be that other person that's giving you that feedback or receiving it or talking to you where you feel a type of way. Might want a little longer, but I'm like, look, we got to talk. It might be hard, but we have to talk and we got to figure out how to get through it.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. For me, selfishly, I kind of want all the time in the world. However, I want us to, if it's on the ball's on your court, I want us to resolve this today. Selfishly, I guess that's the only child part of me that say, no, we need to get this solved right now. But then I feel like if it's involving me, I need the time. And like one of the things that Pierre may do,
you do that.
like when Pierre, when he communicate with him, he'll be like, "You just want to be mad," and and every time it make me laugh on the inside, but I'd be like,
That is funny. You have to laugh, like it just lighten up the mood. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, thinking about communication, let's have a little communication about an off topic, right? So the off topic topic this week, it will be the question I want to throw out is a polyamorous relationship, is that really a bad idea?
Baby, let me
Like I
just
know
say
we
this.
live in a world now where anything goes. I know that this term could be new to some of us. But like, and just when the timing of things, when words come out, when trends pick up, it can pick up in a negative or a positive way. But just thinking about this off topic, is a polyamorous relationship really a bad idea? Let's have some communication around that. Who wants to jump in?
I've
Ronnie.
never, obviously, it's not a relationship I've been in, okay? But but I'm gonna say this. I understand it. I'm not mad at it. Okay, I'm not. I mean, you mean to tell me
You can have
that
two
I
young
can
men in there
have?
paying all of them bills
Oh,
and
you
be
hear
a cat
me?
woman and
Do
be a
you hear
cat
me?
woman.
You mean
10
to tell
stars
me
for
I
me.
can have, and everybody's okay with it?
Right.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, and Well, if I did it, you gonna be. I'm absolutely not, baby. Tell her I said hi. I'll see you next week.
The way that I love my bed right now. Kim, what's your thoughts
You hear
on
me?
And
And you and
It's
him
a
can high five when you leaving to go to her house. Goodbye.
No, you got to be in the same house. With
Now I
this.
don't want to live with nobody though. I want y'all to go home and shit. Like, no.
because hold on.
Right.
For your situation, why it gotta be two girls and a man? Why can't it be two men and you?
It's gonna be
Yes.
probably
It's
three.
whatever.
Yes,
It's
I was
probably
gonna be 3.
but yes,
Oh.
because it has to be for me. See,
Everybody
because
needs
what we
something
see on TV is always be one man and 2 women. Why couldn't it be one woman and 2 men?
Woo woo.
My hand is up for it. Like, let's go.
Say I'm not mad at it.
I'm a selfish lover, so but if he couldn't get up tonight, my other man could. So I'll be
Woman
happy
of
with
the
that.
night and a selfish lover, baby. A combination. You hear me?
Yes. Sign me up.
Hayward is like, what are we doing here? Hayward, tag
me up.
team, jump in.
You know, I'm
Is
supposed
a
to be a Bible
polyamorous
study, so
relationship
Oh,
really?
Wait a minute.
yeah. No, I'm kidding. But no, I mean polyamory. If I don't know, if it works, then that's great. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's something that I would do. Like, personally, I mean, I just not for any like negative like reason. I just don't know if I could like really handle it. I guess
No.
because if it's too like, well, it's non-monogamous, but you're still like in a. I would have to understand like how it works fully. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because if you have like
want to have his own room, he'll have his own room, and you have your own room. So you need a 4-bedroom, one for the study, and everybody. And when you feel a little freaky, that's a knock on the door.
Well, I don't know. I think
And some of them just taking out the sexual.
Right.
that's what I was gonna
Right.
say.
That's what I'm saying. Try removing that aspect.
Go
of
ahead,
it.
Mario.
But I was gonna say, taking out the sexual aspect of it. However, I think that there's still gonna be an element of jealousy in it, and I think that's gonna be problematic because naturally, and I feel like naturally men are territorial. So the fact of you knowingly, and I think some men be like, oh, I don't care, but I really deep down inside, I think they have a problem. The ego get involved, like what I'm saying, she's spending more time with you than she is with me, or he's spending more time with you than he is with me, whatever the case may be. And so I don't necessarily, I think they may sound good in the beginning, but eventually it's a recipe for destruction because that aspect of jealousy comes creeping in.
I think it depends.
I got
think
one
it goes
to
back
knock
to
all this shit
communication,
over.
though. I think it goes ultimately.
That's right.
Because
It's communication.
Yeah, as long as you have like consistent communication, I feel like in any situation to make sure like this is what
we want to do.
Why the face? Why can't I?
I don't know because I
think that's true. Like, that's why I say consistent like communication. You can't just have it at the beginning, like, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and then just ride it through.
That's
you have to check in at these points, like just in any relationship, you have to check in. You have those checkpoints.
Yeah. I know all that sounds good. Nice. But I think
I'm gonna ask Fry. You think that'll go over good if I ask Fry about this?
Lord. And you giving out the names on Lord.
I
don't know who you're talking about. Listen, baby, I seen the dude on TikTok that I had to block, and he said, send me any information and I can figure it out, where you are, where you been, where you going. I said, Lord, this right here is a tool for the devil. Block, because I'm trying to break. So if this young man is watching our podcast,
look. He's not.
Sweet.
Well, I want to come from a different aspect to say that I think polyamorous relationship is a good idea. I think
gonna make it work.
Period.
I think I've made it work in a couple of situations already. You hear me? I think I've had an unofficial polyamorous relationship, and I think I've had a semi-official polyamorous relationship.
Okay.
We
have an expert on the subject.
Do they know? Do they in it? Whoever they are?
Yeah. I think my unofficial polyamorous relationship, I wasn't that person's girlfriend. So it was just like it just worked for us. You know what I mean? Like I was at home, he's doing his thing and he'll call me. I'll receive weird telephone numbers on my phone. I pick up the phone. I'm like, "Hello." He like, "Goodness, what you doing?" Like, I'm like, "Nothing." Like, "What
You
you
said what
doing?"
now?
He called you
What you
goodness?
say?
Listen.
So you were
He's like, "Look,
so
I
you were
got
in
a
a
little pick me
situation.
up right here. We on our way through. We about to go play poker." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'll be here when y'all get." You know what I mean? So that's unofficial because I didn't belong to him. He didn't belong to me. He didn't belong to that person. But it worked. It actually worked. I had fun. Like we would do stuff. So that worked.
I think that's the part that we talking about without the sexual part. Y'all went and play poker. Y'all did things together.
But
It was just
why?
Read between the
No,
lines.
don't get me wrong. The sexual
Read
part
between the
was in
lines.
there.
Read between the lines.
Yeah, right.
Tim, I
But
was
you
trying to help you out, boo.
Mario, no, we did go play poker. We did. We did go play poker. You know, sometimes you just need yeah, sometimes activities and dates, would you guys agree that that's just foreplay for whatever else? Like,
Absolutely.
so well. And then my semi-official polyamorous relationship, I think that one gets a little trickier. And I think that you really have to choose the candidates. And I feel like if in
There you go.
I don't want to.
You have to choose the right people.
Yeah, and sometimes the other person that you choose might be the lesser. I don't know what the word would be.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Listen,
Where's
I don't
the
want the fans
gavel?
to hate me. Sorry,
Why-
viewers. It's just life experience.
Where's the
It's life experiences we've been through.
yeah.
Okay, that was a good off-topic conversation. Clearly, it's one we probably need to have as our main conversation because it's gonna take. I mean, it can go down so many different avenues. So,
Absolutely.
I just think a lot of time in life when things pop up or when society gives the thing a name, it just depends on how it trends at that time. If it's classified as good or bad, you know what I mean? Like if it comes up at another time, it could be looked at differently, or you could have a smaller subset of people actually doing it and it's successful.
Successful.
So
Yeah. Mhm.
And I would agree with that. I kind of want to circle back though when Hayward was talking about the communication aspect of it. And I agree with you got to check and have, regular check-ins and stuff like that. But I still think that somebody's not going to be telling the truth because they're going to, somebody might say they're good with it. I'm just saying.
That sounds like you have a
thought.
You have some things that
Experience.
you're working on some things. Like you
know.
said, you feel like someone's not going to be truthful. Why?
No,
why
I
are
mean,
you saying the
because
words? Like, that's not necessarily the case.
I just feel that in my years of living, yes,
It's not for you.
That's fair.
And studying people, that I feel like you would leave the door open to say, hey, well, how do you feel about this and the third? And they may be, oh yeah, everything's going good, When really inside, they can be like, no, I really don't want to do this no more, but I don't want to piss you off, nor do I want to not make you happy.
That could very well be a possibility, but then that goes back to their lack of
communication.
or their lack of communication.
I was about to say, but don't you get that in a regular relationship?
Absolutely.
There you go.
When a man and a woman are kicking it and the woman may take it too far and not understanding what's really going on, or vice versa. Like we're just booty call partners, but this girl over here, like my guy, my boyfriend, and he's like, hold on.
Yeah, because
I'm not
I think
saying
that's
you my
bound to happen.
girl.
And I think that's difficult too. Especially that would probably be the most difficult part in a polyamorous relationship. Just the fact of how it is when you spend a significant amount of time with someone, you can easily kind of like begin to develop more like strong feelings. So it's like, how do you cut that, or how do you draw the line? You know what I mean? So I feel like that.
If we ever circle back to this, can we get a poly couple on here to ask a couple questions?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But with that, because I think that would
it.
be a great segment. But with that, can we also get a speed dating for men that are into it? Because I got some questions for myself.
Not
I
speed
think-
dating, period.
Questions for myself.
We can have our great producer on the background. Everybody give a couple of rounds of applause to P. He holds us down. Mr. Wonderful Producer, if you can kind of circle back this topic and the suggestions that have been made, I think that would definitely make for some great episodes.
And some single men of all races, because I'm equal opportunity dater, that would be into that, because I got some questions for them to see if they. I just got some
Absolutely.
questions for them, trying to see something.
Well, it sounds like y'all, all three of y'all women are on board for it. Me, myself, personally, I can't do it. I'm too emotionally invested, so I couldn't do it.
You said no. That's a no.
Kim used to tell me that all the time. Mario, you don't. Never mind.
Yeah. You take it for what it is, and I want to circle back to the conversation. Then we're gonna go into what we eating. But I mean, just like when we think of polyamorous, immediately we jump to sex. You know what I mean? And we jump to that it's just for a fun relationship. But no, people are actually finding substance in these relationships and moving forward with them. And I mean, I'm seeing a lot of good results.
That's wonderful for them.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, for them.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, no,
I might be them one day. Hey,
I mean, yes, and it's wonderful for you too. Like, I'll support you. I'm there. Like, hey.
Right.
Kim, can you give some advice to what these throuples could be staying in the house cooking while they're in the house enjoying each other?
Well, my favorite thing, and it's been a little chilly here in Texas, is chicken chili. And thanks to my sons, they bought me this Instapot, so it speed up the time of putting the beans on, cooking the chicken thighs, onions, peppers, and all that stuff. So in my little Instapot, you put it on saute. You saute your onions with your oil, your garlic, and then you take your boneless, skinned thighs. I do like 6 of them, and then I saute them inside the onions and garlic. Still in the Instapot. You can do all this in one pot. And then with my beans, I already have them already soaked overnight. My Navy, they got to be the little white beans, some Navy, just 1 pack. Soak them. Next thing after I do all of that, I clean my beans, put them in the Instapot. I have some chicken broth. Lock my Instapot for 30 minutes. Put it on soup. Ding, ding, ding. Open it up. Being soft is giving the smell. Then I start seasoning. I put my cumin, my Mrs. Dash, some garlic powder, some onion powder. Now I'm not a measurer, so I'm
until your ancestors speak to you.
Right.
And then for that Mario, I add a little sugar.
I knew it.
Sugar. And then I close the pot back up, put it on another 30 minutes, let all that marry. Ooh, baby. Oh, and then after that, so it's an hour. After that, I open it back up, 1 bag of frozen corn and a bunch of cilantro chopped up. And then I'm tasting. Do I need a little bit more of this? A little bit more of that? And then I put the corn, the cilantro in, stir it up, put the pot back on for like maybe 10 minutes, take it off. It's thick, it's good. I don't even have to put a little cornstarch or nothing because the beans already soften up and it give it that thick. Ooh. And then with the
chicken chili?
What?
After the week she done had, no, we still talking about the chili.
Flashback.
The chicken chili.
That sounds good and hearty, especially here in Indiana. Even though it's happy spring, we are getting some very chilly weather here, so that would be really really good.
And it's so good. And make some jalapeno cornbread muffins. You have a good meal, and it lasts and can feed up to 8-10 people out of that just 1 pot. But hour 10 minutes is really really good.
So you put the chicken thighs in there whole, or you dice them up?
I put them in there whole. And when you put it for that next 30 minutes, so it's 2 30-minute times, it shreds itself because it's cooking in the beans and it's cooking with the chicken broth. And next thing you know, it's all shredded.
Okay.
That's why you got to use boneless, skinless. So you don't have to worry about taking bones out. You don't have to worry about having that fatty skin. It's already good. I like that. I like the Amish chicken thighs because it's the way they feed them and raise them. It's well, sweetheart. Don't buy the Kroger brand. Buy the Amish.
I'm by the Heritage Farm.
I'm gonna tell you what I saw Kim. I didn't even pay all the way attention to see the Lee on the end. I just saw Kim for the what we eating, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be.
I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it at all.
Real quick. The last time I was there, it was Andy. And Kim had.
Best friend, you better save me too. You better save this conversation.
She had this new pasta thing that she wanted to try, and she had went to, I think it was Whole Foods, and got the chicken out the service case. We was just sitting there. I'm like, damn, what is that smell? What is that smell? My poor friend, she didn't realize when you get the stuff out the service case, you got to cook it relatively soon. That should have been sitting there for more than a few days.
Sharon, I don't like it. P, cut her camera. Cut it. Black it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all.
Hey.
Well, she makes some great sausage and eggs.
Oh,
That's right.
That's lovely.
And make sure that I get into rotation for what we cooking, because I can tell you, because nobody eggs can kill my eggs but Starbucks and them egg bites. Nobody's eggs can kill my eggs or my little bitty little sausage patty. Okay, I'm gone. I'm done with this. Can you please uplift me and take me out on a positive note, Mario? Because the foolery that we have caused today in this little last bit of the episode. Before we do that, viewers, please check our website and check our comments. We will be uploading that delicious recipe that Mama Kim has blessed us with. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go on there and tell one of my thropples to cook it for me. We can enjoy it.
Not the thruffles.
And how about she's so serious, even though she acting like she's playing.
Check. Mario, can you uplift us, please?
Please.
So actually, I got two uplifts today, two quotes this week. So the first being, I picked it up from a Dia movie. It kind of resonated with me. It says, "You always mess up when you mix seasonal people with lifetime expectations."
Ooh.
So
that's a deep one.
Yeah, that kind of spoke to me. And coming from a Dia, the Dia plays, they always have like some thought-provoking things in there. So that really spoke to me. You always mess up when you mix seasonal people with lifetime expectations. And then finally, eventually all the pieces fall into place. Until then, laugh at the confusion, live for the moment, and know that everything happens for a reason.
Hey, man, Mario, that was good.
Come on, best friend. Come on,
that
Mo.
was really good.
Yeah, so I'm on my Donald Lawrence stuff right now. Encourage you. When I'm speaking so
encourage yourself. You hear me?
He's a saint today.
As always, you guys, this has been some good conversation, some great dialogue. Mario, thank you for that uplift. You're taking us out. Definitely, once we end these episodes, I always lay down and kind of think about the different messages that come out of our conversation. So, viewers, I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and we just would like to thank you again for joining another episode of Off Topic.
Have a
See
good
y'all
week.
later.
Bye.